How are you with ghosts?
How am I with ghosts? What do you mean?
Do you believe in ghosts?
Very interesting question. I don't believe in ghosts, no. In terms of this is the remains or the consciousness of a dead person. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to crap all over people's beliefs or their religions or whatever. I'm not trying to disrespect. And I do understand that people believe these types of things because it's comforting to think about their loved ones not just being in the ground. But for me, once you're dead, you're dead.
So do you think that you go to sort of like those Amazonian tribes and the kind of ancient civilizations where they spoke to the gods and they had their big ceremonies and went into these trances and stuff?
They use whatever framework they can to understand what is going on. They use what reference points they have, probably passed down from previous generations or whatever, and it is what it is. Try and remain respectful to that.
All these people that swear blind that they've seen these spectral figures.
They may well have done. I cannot make a comment or even a judgment really on what they saw. If I wasn't there, I saw it myself. But what I can say for sure is that they were not the spirits or the consciousness of people who have died.
But it's a nice idea.
Of course, it's a nice idea. But that don't make it so. You know, because all we are as human beings are products of everything that's happened to us up to that point. If that dies and that ceases to exist, that ceases to be active, what part of me can live on after that? Nothing. What else is there?
We don't know, do we? We don't know.
We don't know. But you can't tell me that I would come back and haunt people. Let's say for all intents and purposes, I died. Don't wish that on me.
That would be really sad.
Yeah, okay. If I died, let's say I'm completely wrong and I was able to stay after my body decayed and died. How would I be able to interact? If I died right now and you were in this room, blah, 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 how could I interact with you? I couldn't blow in your ear or anything because there's no breath, there's no lungs. How could I see? I don't have eyes.
Well, maybe on the spectral plane there is some sort of, I don't know, some sort of thing that maybe you're stuck within that moment where you're between waking and true sleep, and that's where you can interact from, and that's why when you're tired and sleepy, and then you start to see things. So maybe that's not hallucination, that's where all the spectres are.
Possibly. I mean, I can't rule it out, but I would argue that, you know, there's obviously a big difference between sleeping and actual death, and I would also bring us back to the fact that death is complete inactivity. There is nothing. There's no thought. There's no nothing. So if there's no thought when you die, then I wouldn't have the consciousness to try and interact with this physical realm. And if I could, how would I do so? Because I don't have a physical body. So let's say that a part of me did live on after I died. How would I interact? At the minute, I have breath, I have a mouth, I have senses, I can interact. If I have no mouth, no eyes, no ears, no sense of touch, no breath, how can I interact with a realm that is physical? I'm physical myself. That's how I can interact. If I can't, if I don't have those things, how can I interact? Basically, what I'm saying is, if you were dead, you would have to come to the conclusion that you may as well be blind, deaf, and dumb, without any sense of smell or touch either. That would be a more realistic way of looking at if your consciousness survived after your body decay. And to me, that's quite cruel. I would not want to. If you had no senses, what's the point? So no, I believe. Are there spectres? Are there spirits? Are there things we don't understand on another plane that isn't physical? Quite possibly. I'm almost sure of it, in fact. But are they the spirits of people who've passed? No, I don't believe that. It just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make any sense. It's nice to believe, but when you really start tearing it apart, it's tosh.
It's a nice idea in your head that there's this. I suppose there is that gives you hope that you could exist on another plane and another
field of existence or realm.
Yeah, basically you become something else and live out that something else.
It would be nice to believe, because ultimately what it means is that you don't die, but you just change form. And what I'm saying is that's nice, but the reality is once we die, we die. And if we don't, and once we die, if we really don't die, what kind of an existence would it be anyway if we don't have our senses? Because all our senses are tied to the physical. If you have no physical, what then what? You're just floating around, not deaf, dumb, blind, and not able to smell or touch anything. Let's say you were in the physical realm. Well, you'd just be a fart. You'd just be a gas. What's the point? What's the point? What's the point of that? You might as well just be in the ground and not know you're there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because you'd be dead. Yeah. I heard a very good comparison where if you take a candle and a lit flame, you blow out the flame, the candle goes out. Where does the flame go?
Ooh. Don't know.
The flame doesn't go anywhere. It's just gone. That's what like dying is. The flame doesn't go to some alternate dimension where all blown out flames go. The flame's gone. That's all it is.
Do you know this for sure?
You can't know for sure. No.
Exactly, you can't know for sure. So where's that flame gone? If I get scientific with you and say that the law of conservation states that energy cannot be created, it can only be recycled. That flame is caused by three things, right? Heat, oxygen, and fuel. Yeah. When you blow that out, those things don't disappear, they just become something else. The oxygen's still there and the fuel is still there. The heat is gone. Now what's to say that when you die, it's not the same thing? So that consciousness is still there, it's just gone somewhere else.
It may well have done. I'm not arguing that it's not gone somewhere. What I'm arguing is the consciousness does not stay around in the physical realm. It cannot do. And if it does, then it's not much of a consciousness. That's all I'm saying. There may be a trillion dead people in the air as we speak, but that's not a very comforting thought now, is it?
It's not. No, no, it's really not.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, you're saying about the candle, right? There's no way that we can actually prove that the flame of a blown out candle doesn't go to an alternative dimension, but considering that the flame is physical and you've blown out the physical, where does it go? It doesn't go anywhere unless I can light a candle now. I blow it out and it appears somewhere else. But we know that it doesn't work like that either. Yeah. So you can sort of go back and forth until the cows come home, because to interact with the physical realm, you need to be physical. Or am I wrong? Do you not need to be physical? But if you don't need to be physical, how do you interact? Now, if you change form and something happens where when you die you change form to the point where those senses are no longer relevant, that may well happen. That's fine. But we're then getting really into the realms of speculation. And again, imagine not just human beings. Imagine every single animal, every single living creature on the planet that's died from the time life began. And now we're starting to think about if their life force didn't just actually give out, but it remained somewhere on Earth.
That means there could be like dinosaur ghosts walking around.
It's bollocks, isn't it? Come on, do you know?
Awesome thought.
No, it's not. It's stupid. But do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
How does it make sense?
Yeah.
You know what? There's a part of me that's thinking, you know what, we're recording this. Maybe we shouldn't put this out because I must be coming across as if I'm trying to crap on people's comforts, and I don't want to be doing that.
Let's put it out.
Seriously?
Yeah. And then the next we can do is, do dragons exist?
No.